There are your top 10. And there aren't many big names. Daria Domracheva's not quite in there yet, but there she is, number 13. No doubt that she is on an upward curve in terms of form, starting just behind Justine Brezard, the young French woman who's produced some really good results so far this year. Vitkova should be able to move up a few places. Susan Dunkley will certainly move up if she hits 10 in the prone. Expect to see her challenging the top 20. Lisa Teresa Hauser, Mike and Selena Gasparin, their form seems to be dropping away. That will be a concern.
Yeah, Hauser especially, her ski speed has almost deserted her at the moment. I'm sure she'll get it back to the World Championships in Austria.
Miriam Gosner hit all the prone, only hit 2 in the stand yesterday. She finished 53rd, 250 behind. Only the top 60 from yesterday's sprint coming through to qualify for the pursuit. And those at the back of the field are starting, just looking at the time margin, 3:07. So it was some 30 seconds, a 30-second larger gap from first to 60th than we're used to getting. A lot of that's due to the fact that Mäkäräinen was 22 seconds quicker than everyone.
Oh, she really pushed the pace, and I think that's the heavy snowfall at the front of the race and at the back of the race accounted for that 3:07 behind. 3 Canadians in positions between 55 and 60. So a lot of work for them to do to move up the rankings much.
Now, there's been a lot of chat between you and I, Mike, about the British team. I was talking to someone yesterday saying, well, look at all the countries that do well in biathlon. They all have a culture of hunting.
Well, most do, actually. Most of the European, of course, the Scandi countries. Russia love their hunting. I think look at Japan, their gun laws are more extreme than Britain. Britain has really clamped down on where you can put a range, for example. The use of weapons, it's not in our culture, so that's a fair comment. And that's why it's been 99% military throughout the history of biathlon, and biathlon has done well in British history. So often we've had top 15s at Olympics, at World Championships. It's possible.
And of course that cultural thing's not going to change. So if you get some juniors, would you try and persuade them to do what Annie Musgrave's done on the cross country, move abroad to where there are plenty of facilities and where you have plenty of athletes who are at your level and better?
I think so. I think that's the secret, getting a good connection with a foreign club, and hopefully that will be a way forward once the board sadly are standing down in British biathlon, so new directions will be taking place.
Well, let's look at some of the favourites. Durana Bear, the pursuit world champion in 2015, starting with bib number 4. Laura Dahlmeier, the current world champion, having won the title in Oslo last year. She went from 3rd to 1st in that event. Gabi Kukalova, the form athlete at the moment, and her form is being shown in the range in particular. In terms of skiing form, Kaisa Mäkäräinen a cut above the rest at the moment. Can she capitalise on that? Will she be brave enough to go early and earn a 10-second lead into the first shoot? Race number 13 for the 2017 season, and a crucial stage in terms of establishing a good position in the World Cup standings, and of course showing your coaches that you have the form to take into the World Championships next month. Here we go. It's Mäkäräinen who goes first. 34 years old. She had a brilliant pursuit at the end of last season in Jänti-Mänsisk. She won the sprint and she won the pursuit. So she's done it before, and that is so important in terms of confidence.
I think it is, but this is the first time she's finding herself this season at the front of the field, and it will feel different.
Started this season with 12 wins. Kukalova has taken her tally up to 16. 5 of those have come in the pursuit, so she's familiar with the situation. Dahlmeier, of course, as I mentioned, the world champion from Oslo. She's only 23, but she's got the maturity of the other two without any doubt at all. Durana Bear going number 4. A little bit of a gap, 18 seconds between 3 and 4. Durana Bear, number 1 in the Pursuit World Cup standings. She needs a top 2 to ensure she stays there. Dorothy Vera, 26 years now, comes from Rasen, 87-86% in the shooting, Mike. Is that that's not actually a bad score. I think it's really the lack of ski speed that's let Vera down this year.
I think she's slowly finding it, and she'll risk the shooting today. She'll shoot faster, maybe a podium today for her.
What a big day for Hanna Öberg, Sweden's youngest. That's a really slow start from Öberg, looking over his shoulder. I think she's wanting Wisniewskaja to come through and take the lead, so she gets some protection on the first lap. Nice to see a bit of blue sky in the background over the town of Ruhpolding. And a good positive start coming in from Justine Brezard. We expect nothing less. Only 20. What form she showed us in Pachuca. If she can repeat that when we go to Hochfilzen, she'll certainly be challenging for medals.
Yes, Brezard, she's lost her way just a little with her shooting percentages. Still good though.
Daria Domracheva is away. Behind her, Puskachikova, Akimova, Magnusson of Sweden, Olsbu of Norway. And then they're fairly tightly bunched all the way down to Davidova of the Czech Republic, who starts 28.
I love that camera shot. It gives you an idea of how close the spectators are to the shooting range, the firing point.
Susan Dunkley at the back of this group, very distinct style. That sort of asymmetrical skate three, as we call it, where you sink on one leg and then rise up onto the other. Joanna Bear, is she going to go down? Now, that
good.
could well have done some damage to the...
I think she survived it. I'm surprised that didn't break the
stock. It's a fairly slinky looking stock.
Especially the hook which goes under her arm. That's what took all the impact. And she, for me, we saw her last week in Oberhof, how beautifully she takes corners to Rana Bear. Just got her weight wrong there.
Well, with all this fresh snow, I'm slightly surprised to see that happen. And as we saw from the two Germans, Pfeiffer and Schemp this morning, a fall on the flat costs you at least 15 seconds. Kukalova being chased down by Dalmar. They started 8 seconds apart. Dalmar looks to be within 5 or 6 at the moment, and I think she'll be quite happy to ski behind Kukalova for the rest of this first loop. You've only got 2 kilometers, Mike. You've got well under 6 minutes for each lap. So this is like an interval session, really.
It's quite severe. You have to hit it hard, and I like the way that Dalmar has closed down very quickly almost all of those 8 seconds deficit. Durana Bear, she's allowed the rest to catch her because of that mistake.
Yeah, actually, Vera started 9.5 behind her, so Durana Bear quickly back onto her feet. But I think Vera's intention was to catch Durana Bear if she could, and then just settle in behind her. And Franziska Hildebrand, she's a wise old athlete. Her form, though, Mike, just if you look at all the World Cups, it's just dropping away, but very, very slightly.
It is, and her 2 wins, Hildebrand, they both come in the sprint competitions, once here, once at Hochfilzen, and maybe that's good news for the World Championships coming there for her.
Öberg of Sweden, the taller figure, in second place in this group, as we suspected, wanting to tuck in behind Wisniewskaja.
Wisniewskaja, she's such a talented biathlete. She's still quite young. I think she's 22-year-old. Showed her winning ways at Junior World Championships. Ulsbu, she didn't show great ski form. I thought she could get more 40 seconds faster yesterday, but she was way off the pace.
Still Norway's #1, Olsbu. I think the Norwegians disappointed that Tyrrell Eckhoff hasn't quite shown us the form. Anaïs Chevalier going through, who's 12th in the World Cup standings for France at the moment. 4 French women in the top 15 of the World Cup standings at the start of today. I can't see it changing. Rungallier goes through, number 28, having a look over her shoulder. That's Davidova of the Czech Republic. And the Czechs absolutely delighted this morning that another of the men's team has managed to make it as far as the podium.
Makarainen is setting the fastest time on the track. Second fastest, Ulsbu said she was off form yesterday. She's at least started very strongly at 1.2 kilometre.
I have to say, I've never seen the crowds on the tracks as dense as this at a World Cup. We saw it at the World Championships, 4 years ago, but very, very impressive. The new design in the stadium has made a big difference.
And look at the wall of people there. You can actually hear, if an individual voice shouts out of that, 12,000, you hear it.
Quite a few British fans in the crowd, and a couple communicating with us saying the only disappointing thing is that the fans are so partisan. Let's see if they get behind Mäkäräinen.
I think they're trying to put her off because Dahlmeier's coming into sight. As usual, the rifle is leaning over towards her, but she keeps it that way all the time.
Going further and further right, brings it back for that last one. The first one was close, the last one comfortably inside, and a clean first shoot for Mäkäräinen. Remember the time margins, 22 seconds back to Kukaleva, and then 30 back to Dahlmeier at the start of the race. Well, that suddenly doubles the deficit for these two.
I'm so surprised that Dahlmeier, maybe it's the pressure. Oh, 2 targets missed.
Well, no doubt those two are affecting each other. We've seen that before, and when Mäkäräinen hears that, she will be laughing because Dorana Bear, who took the fall, was 48. We now know she's over 55 seconds off the lead, and Mäkäräinen could have a lead of over a minute after this first shoot.
I certainly didn't expect that. From 10 wins, Dahlmeier has won 50% of them in the pursuit competition.
Vera should be the first to clear the targets, despite the fact that she settled last. Look at that, great shooting from Dorothy Vera. Hildebrand and Duran, so only Vera of the chasing 5.
This is going to be a huge lead for Mäkäräinen.
Dorothy Vera started 57 behind, and she's lost 3 seconds, which actually, you know, if you were to say before the race, Vera, with a minute's deficit, she needs to outshoot Mäkäräinen by 5 shots to have any chance of getting up there.
She does, but you know what? She's pulling 9 seconds back just in the speed that she shoots. So if she can pull 9 seconds back every time, she's still got a chance.
And losing 18 on each lap. That's it. Swings and roundabouts. Dorana Bear back down to 7th, having started 4. Hildebrand dropping places as well. Gwizdon coming up. The best of the gains. Puskachikova 14th to 10th on that first shoot. And Akimova's gone from 15 to 11. Now 135 off the leader. Once again, a busy penalty loop, and you can see that very few going clear on that first shoot. Mäkäräinen taking full advantage, extends her lead to a full minute over Dorothy Vera. Kukaleva, Dahlmeier, Dorana Bear, Hildebrand, all missing targets on that first shoot. You wouldn't have put your money on that. And now Vera has already lost 5 seconds on the first 900 meters. Kukaleva trying to race herself back into this one. Mäkäräinen's race to lose at the moment.
It is. You know, I thought she was on the start list, Donracheva, and I thought today she would have had a real chance. I bet she's now watching this thinking, I wish I had started. But there again, if you're not well, there's no point in taking part. But that's a big surprise that Kukaleva, Dahlmeier and Dorana Bear, Hildebrand, all the big names, most of the big names have missed targets. Dunkley has missed 3 in the prone. Normally she gets the prone down.
Akimova into 11. No real significant changes, Mike. We saw in the men's race, some athletes coming from the 40s, 50s to pick up 30 places or so. No evidence of that at the moment. Everyone pretty much where they started. Vishnaskaya, I guess, is the one who's struggling the most. She's gone from 8th down to 15th. And I guess Vitosi deserves a mention. 27th up to 17th, having hit all the targets. We'll try and let you know how many went clear on that first shoot. Not as many as we were expecting. And no sooner have the tail enders cleared the range than Mäkäräinen is back in. That's one of the issues with the women's pursuit. You get a runaway leader and she can lap 10, 15 athletes by the end of the race.
26, nearly half the field have shot 0 in the first time in. I
think it's fair to assume her sights were pretty good on that first shoot, Mike. Shots 2, 3, 4, all will have clipped the 10. One was low right, I think, and then the fifth shot, was that low left?
I thought it was low left, yeah.
Low left, so
a little bit of nerves there for the left and right margins.
So not expecting to see her change the sights. Here we go. Again, puts that slight cant onto the rifle. First one more important. That's better. Well, there's her last shot.
Dead centre, second. Little low.
Immaculate, immaculate, almost putting every round through the same hole as she put it on her first shoot. That would put a smile on the coaches' faces, and from a minute's lead, we're likely to see her 1:15. I'm not quite sure, you can estimate for yourselves, but no one who misses a target is going to be within a minute and a half of Kaisa Mäkäräinen.
That was a lovely display. She didn't panic. She's never the quickest to shoot, although watching her in training, certainly in October up at her hometown, she was shooting so fast. First shot released in 11 seconds, taking about 23 for the whole process. I know that's training. When you're leading a race, you've got to make sure you hit them.
Now, she's getting to the stage, Mike, with the lead she's got, that there's a level of expectation on her shoulders. Her standing shoot is only 73% this year, so the race isn't over, but she will kick herself if she throws this one away, but it's still possible.
Oh, it's great breathing space. She's going to have at least a minute. I know that Vera's going to shoot fast, probably will get them all. Nice.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Brilliant. Just a slight delay on a 5 now. Will Dalmar clean up this time, having missed 2 last time round? Kukaleva's looking more confident. 3, 4, 5. They say if you're going to make a mistake, make it on the first shoot. And Kukaleva, Dalmar, Durana Bear, Hildebrand, Oiberg all get the 5. I think they've settled down. Maybe the pace on that first lap, Mike, was just a little higher than normal as they try to close down on Mäkäräinen.
Well, exactly. They would have been given the split times of Mäkäräinen and they weren't making an impression at all. And that unsettled them. They were trying hard, couldn't close it. So under pressure.
Yeah, good performance by Oiberg.
I'm so pleased for Gwizdom, Poland. I love seeing Poland up there. One of the poorest teams out there.
The Czech Republic delighted that Puskarchikova's got herself into the top 8. Kukaleva still has a chance of getting on the podium. She's in 4th at the moment, 1:22 behind. Actually, Kukaleva more than happy to tuck in behind Laura Dalmar. We'll see if she can stay there all the way through. Is that Olsbu breaking left to go on the penalty loop again?
It is, and Breza, again, that unsettled feeling she has on the range. She's missed another 2. But you know, when you're 20-year-old, you're still learning your trade, and often it's maybe a little too much to be doing every race at World Cup at her age.
More gains for Lisa Vitosi, who's gone 27 to 14. Vanessa Hintz is doing even better. She's gone 35 to 15, so 20 places gained already, and her teammate Hammerschmidt has gone from 39 to 17, so a 22 place gain in the first half of this race. It's starting to heat up. 1 minute 17 now, the margin between Mäkäräinen and Vera. Vera losing a lot of time on the snow, gaining it back on the shooting with great speed, but she needs to. She's under pressure if she wants to win this one.
Well, each lap, you're right, each lap, Dorothy Vera, she's losing 15 seconds to Mäkäräinen's time, and she's pulling 7 or 8 of those seconds back each time into the range. So her best hope is that Mäkäräinen starts missing targets in the stand position. Twice she'll come in for the stand, and without a doubt the stand proportionally is more difficult. We see that in most of the athletes' statistics. 11.5 centimeters is the target size, the hit plate, as opposed to 45 millimeters or 4.5 centimeters in the prone, which is just bigger than a golf ball. You'll fit a golf ball in there, but just.
It's a photographer's light today. There should be some nice pictures in the local paper. They'd love it to be of one of the German athletes crossing the line in first position, but that is looking more and more unlikely. Lara Dauma still in third place, 1:24 off the leaders of the chasing pack. Mike, I think your money would still be on Dauma. Certainly if she was shooting in the stand position with the form she had last year, you'd put your money on her. Yes. Hasn't been quite as consistent this season in the stand, but she looked very good in the sprint.
It's always a good indicator. Looking at the very end of the rifle, it's fairly stable throughout this process so far.
A little bit shaky, which might indicate some muscling.
Now she's beginning to shake. You can see that, obviously a big miss there. Dead center for the last shot. That would have taken the prone down.
Well, estimating her lead to be 1:20 coming into the range, it's going to take her some 25 seconds. So they might get to within 55 seconds of Mäkäräinen after this third shoot, and if she can manage that, and actually if she pushes it up over a minute, she's got a two-shot advantage on everyone when it comes to the final shoot, and you would expect her to clear 3 with 5 every single time. Here they come.
As they come in, they'll absolutely see Mäkäräinen. They won't want to dwell upon it too much, but they'll be aware that she's been on the penalty loop.
They'll also be aware that she is out on the tracks yet again. It's a big, big margin. Dauma wanting lane number 2, Vera in 3. We've got Dorana Bear in 4, and Kukalova just behind her in 5.
Well, of course, the open lane, Dauma can have lane 1, the open range, that is.
But she's gone for 2.
Look at the speed Vera is shooting again. That is a high-risk strategy. She's missed the 4th.
Yeah, so pays a price. Gains 8, throws away 24 with the miss. Kukalova much more measured. Very, very well controlled. Maybe she sensed the others were missing. That's brilliant shooting from Kukalova. Is she going to get her 6th successive top 2 finish? It looks likely. And Øyberg, who got a PB yesterday in the sprint, could well be on for her first ever podium. But the biggest test in her biathlon career is coming up in around 5.5 minutes' time. There'll be a lot in the crowd. Certainly the non-German part of the crowd who will be hoping that Øyberg can do something special.
I would love to have seen Wolfgang Pichler there, her coach, animated as she moved into 3rd position for the first time in her career.
Well, it's a long, long time since Helena Ekholm hit the podium for Sweden. Well, let's have another look at the ranking here in Ruhpolding. One shoot to go in the women's pursuit, the last race of this meet, the 5th round of the Biathlon World Cups. Mäkräinen, as you can see, a minute clear. We've got Kukalova in second, Oiberg third for Sweden, and nice to see a new name up there in the top 3, and a margin of some 11 seconds back to Dorothy Vera and Duran Aber, who are skiing together at the moment, and Dalmar trying to close down on them. I think she'll do that by the time they come in to shoot. Mike, the best gains, Vitosi we've mentioned all the way through. She's gained 17 places, gone 27 to 10. But the most impressive is, I'm just having a look down the line, someone has gained 30 places, 52 to 22. Varvinyets of Ukraine, and she's shot clear. 2:35 behind the leaders, but she's having a fun time out there.
Pretty good. Bendika, not quite as good as that, but 47 to 26. And remember, she did so well in Canada last year. I think she finished 5th, and the conditions were against her. She was one of the later starters that day.
Yeah, and just a reminder, if you're tuning in hoping to see Daria Domracheva in action, sadly she's withdrawn, not feeling 100%. Looked good in the sprint, got herself into 13th place, and that was with a missed target. Take away the miss, Daria Domracheva roughly a minute off the lead. Could have been top 5 or 6.
Oh, and I think it's wise that she's resting up today as well, because next week in Italy she'll be even better.
Well, here's the chasing group containing Dalmar, Duran Aber, Oiberg of Sweden, who's looking for anything better than 7th will do her. She got her PB yesterday. Kukalova in 2nd place, and actually Kukalova is being closed down by Dalmar. They started this lap 18 seconds apart. Stitzel gives Dalmar the information. She doesn't need any information. She can see it all in front of her, but gives her the encouragement that may make the difference come the end of the day.
Now, Dalmar, for me, she's the master of the pursuit competition. As I said earlier, 5 of her 10 victories have been in the pursuit, but today, missing 3, she's just not at the races. And it's that famous pressure, the Ruhpolding pressure, if you're wearing a German suit, it doesn't really work well.
Now, something I don't think I've seen before in a pursuit, Mike, with one shoot to go, the top 7 starters are still in the top 7 of the race.
Blimey, so, well, it might change. We've got a...
Well, it could well change. We do generally see changes on the last shoot. Will it be Mäkräinen who suffers? We've calculated 3 hits out of 5, and she has a comfortable World Cup win. 2 hits out of 5, the race is on.
Positive start, that hopefully will settle her.
She generally misses 2 in these races.
Looks like the victory to me.
The shakes.
Ooh,
she's got the shakes.
Thinking about it too much.
That's 5 seconds gone, but with that target down, victory is assured. It's a victory lap for Kaisa Mäkräinen. 5 out of 5 on the last standing shot, and that is the first time this year in a 4-shoot race. She did it in the sprint yesterday, so for 2 consecutive days, she's cleaned up those last 5 targets. So important.
And you know, full well she'll understand that she's going to have at least a minute bonus on anybody, even if Kukalova gets these 5.
Now, in terms of thought patterns, Mike, Kukalova obviously was hoping to see Mäkräinen break left onto the penalty loop. She now knows she can't catch the Finn, and suddenly she's trying to defend a position rather than chase one down.
And she'll know full well the rest are chasing her by just 17 seconds, but she'll just stick to process.
She was the slowest of the top 7 on the range, but the only one to clear the 5.
And you can just tell by her expressions, the lack of tension, she's just doing what she does best.
Ever since she won that mass start in Novo Miesto in front of 40,000 of her own fans, she has risen. And her confidence quite astonishing now. Duran Aber with a miss, Dalmar with a chance. Oiberg, is that the one that throws her?
It was the only one. She hit the first 4 rapid.
Yeah.
Took a little bit longer on the last and missed it. Dalmar really off form today.
Hildebrand misses as well. So Mäkräinen and Kukalova are on a very easy 2-kilometer loop. Hildebrand starting to show the pressure as well. The pace picking up on that last loop. Chevalier, Akimova, if they're quick, They could move themselves into the top 5. Durana Bear it is who comes out in 3rd place. What a race we've got for 3rd, Mike, because not only is Durana Bear there, but Dalmar is going to chase as well. She'll think she's got a chance. She's only got to make up 8 seconds on Durana Bear.
And Uberg going for her personal best. She got it yesterday. She may get another one today.
Yeah, guaranteed top 6. No one's going to touch that position. But the podium, I think, is just out of her reach at the moment.
Gwizdon, great job. At the moment, just outside top 10.
Puskachikova in 7th, having started 14. And Chevalier 18 to 8. Olsbu from 17 to 9. Vitosi 27 to 10. Race leader Kaisa Mäkäräinen now starting, well, she's been lapping some of the tail enders for a while now.
Do you think that nobody's informed her that she's leading this race by just under a minute? She's still attacking this last loop of 2 kilometers. Oh, there's a coach telling her now, and I think she's just notably backed off there as soon as he said, listen, you're still 57 seconds ahead.
Now, we're going to really see what Oiberg's made of. Mike, as you said, she comes from the north of Sweden, a lot of cross-country experience before she took up biathlon. That seems to be the way in Sweden.
Yeah, absolutely, and from a young age in the clubs up there, but this is, her, as you say, her biggest test. She was losing some 8 seconds to Dalmar earlier in this race, but now she's inspired to try and stay with her to make, what, 4th position? Well, that would be a tremendous result. Top 5, actually, would be fantastic for Oiberg. I think we'll see some celebrations as she comes across the line. And Kukalova is going to hold on to her yellow bib as the overall World Cup leader. It always amazes me with Kukalova. Look at the support strap on her left hand. It always comes loose. A little bit of Velcro keeps that from flapping around. But hey, she's got everything else so organized in her biathlon. Durana Bear does not want to let this 3rd place go.
Well, the finishing position for Dalmar is important. Nice to see Durana Bear fighting. And we know she can fight.
Lucas chasing
like anyone else out there. Here goes Dalmar. She's going to dance her way up this climb. Suddenly, a crowd that seems somewhat subdued so far today, or this afternoon. They enjoyed this morning's show. Are going to rise and try and help Dalmar up into that 3rd position. Durana Bear needs all the information she can get. She started with an 8-second lead over Dalmar. She's now got 7, so Dalmar's still got some time to make up. Oiberg trying to hang on in there, Mike, and the danger is that by trying to go with Dalmar, she's given Vera a chance of catching her.
Quite possibly 3 seconds, maybe, just maybe, Uberg will pull that back on this descent. It's unlikely. Once you're broken in this race, especially at the end, you're broken.
Yeah, Vera on her best form, I think, could have closed down on the Swede, but we've not seen Vera's best ski form so far this year. Maybe just timing it so she's tip-top shape for the World Championships in February. What an easy run to the finish for Mäkäräinen. We saw her celebrate last week in Oberhof. We saw some tremendous performances there.
And traditionally she's performed well in Antholz. That's where the tour goes next week. In fact, she'll be driving there tomorrow, I think she said. Lovely drive across the Brenner Pass.
So she's had 2 wins, a 2nd and a 3rd in the last 5 races. Mäkäräinen's not going to give up the fight for the Crystal Globe that easily. Kukalova leads. She says her priority is pure and simple. It's the World Championships, not the Crystal Globe. But if she gets to the end of Antholz and she's still leading, I think she might change her mind there. World Championship gold medal or the World Cup champion? Better indicator of who is the best.
It's a tough one. Well, overall, to get the yellow at the end of the Crystal Globe, you are the best biathlete tested 26 times in a year. I think that stays with you a long time. So is world champion.
Be nice.
Well, Dalmar has totally destroyed Uberg, who really tried to stay with her.
Thanks to all of you sending in names of who you think should be in the all-time relay team for men and women. Didn't see your name in there, Mike.
If it started before I was my 19th birthday, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. 2nd place again for Kukalova, another 54 points to take her tally up to 587. Mäkäräinen's going to be on 568, so 19 points off the lead. It's so tight. What a race.
boyfriend, will be a husband, not boyfriend.
Yeah.
He'll be happy.
Yeah, she's pulled the stops out for him this week. He better come and watch the next round in Antolz. We head down to Italy. Racing starts on Thursday. I hope you join us for that. Joanna Bear holds on to third. Nothing Dalmar could do about it. That is a change, Mike. A week ago, you would have backed Dalmar to chase her down.
Oh, very much so, and Dalmar just didn't have the magic today. When she misses 4, it's a really bad day for her. She barely misses more than 2. That's her normal bad day.
The top 4 in the World Cup standings, the top 4 here in Ruhpolding. Oiberg gets 5th, another PB, 2 PBs in 2 days. What a weekend for her. She'll be on the phone back to Sweden, I think fairly sharpish, just to celebrate, and we'll see how she gets on in Antolz. Antolz a very different course, Mike. It's got a hard approach into the range. You've got much less oxygen in the air because we're up at 1,600 metres. Someone of Oiberg's size might struggle.
I think she might, and because of the last 2 weekends, 6 races in 2 weekends, and then you go to this altitude location, it's tough. We often see the shooting dropping down in Antolz.
What a race from Vitozzi, 20 hits out of 20, and that's taken her from 27th all the way up into 20th. Preutz across the line, Guisdon, Vitkova, Hammerschmidt making up the top 17 here. Hammerschmidt 39 to 17, so that's a great race. Guisdon dropping 10 down to 15. Rungaudier, the third Italian across the line in 19th place. So 3 Italians in the top 20 today. They're going to have a good relay team come Hochfilzen. Well, it did take a long, long time for the German crowd to get into that one, which it was a bit of a shame, but to be honest, Mäkäräinen killed it off early on.
She set out strong. She laid her markers down early. She was going to attack the skiing as hard as she did yesterday. Nobody can touch that pace. And then she only missed 1 target. I thought that was just outstanding for her. And she'll be wishing she'd a birthday every week because it's brought her first victories of the season. And the women are now exactly halfway through the season in terms of World Cup points. Race 13 of 26.
And that is because the World Championship races count for World Cup points as well. Kuzmina, the double Olympic champion, in 30th place today, beating the sprint world champion, Eckhoff of Norway, 3:37 behind now. There must have been some bad shooting at the front of the field. The shooting was good. Joanna Bear disappointing, missing 3, and Dalmar surprisingly missing 4, but Oiberg missing 1, Puskachikova missing 1, Mäkäräinen missing 1.
Well, I have to tell you, you're saying the women are better than the men. 3 in the men's race hit the perfect 20. Only 2 of the women have hit 20 out of 20. It's so difficult to do.
But the week overall, I think, going to the women on the range today, as it did in Oberhof. Different conditions, of course. And Ace scored down in 41. She started number 9, so she's had an absolute meltdown.
Do you know what I've noticed this year from the French women, with the Mazet moving to the Norwegian team? He used to work so well with the French team. Now we've got Emonier missing 5 today, and also Anais Béchon missing 5 today. That's unusual. Last year there would have been a little better than that.
Do you think we're going to see a transfer offer?
Maybe. We want you back.
A return transfer, possibly. I don't think the Norwegians want him to go because he's worked pretty well with the Norwegian men in particular.
Oh, he has. He's certainly given Svensson confidence back again. Johannes Ting is, he hasn't quite, anchored his performances yet. Worst shot so far, unexpectedly, is Jima from 11th to 43rd. She missed 8.
And Sharfadova across the line just ahead of Miriam Gusner. Now, we didn't see anything of Gusner thanks to the 3 misses in the sprint. Have a guess at her shooting score. I'll go for missing 6.
You must have seen it. She missed 6.
Missed 6.
No, it's such a pity because she must be setting, what, the top 5, top 6 ski times.
Davidova, 48. Stuic of Austria. For those supporting the Austrians, just trying to track down Lisa Theresa Hauser. She was just hanging on to a top 30 when she came out of the last shoot.
32, yeah.
And she's dropped to 32, so he loses 3 places. Her form has gone, having been very good. Now, what does she do? Does she sit out the races in Antolz, or does she train harder, race harder to try and get that form back?
I wonder if she'll maybe do the individual race. She's such a good shot, and then go away and prepare for the World Championships at home.
Last to start, Julia Ransom from Canada, trains up in Canmore, where so many of the Canadians train. 60th in the sprint, and she finishes at the back end of the field. Rosanna Crawford, number 55.
Well, remember, there was actually, of course, more than just Domracheva who didn't start, Pigrushina didn't.
Yeah.
Crawford, Tandy, Hoynish. Only 1 lap. I thought we might have seen more laps today. We saw Kistanova getting passed by Makarainen. She had to withdraw at that point.
And in that case, all credit to Ransom for starting right at the back of the field and still getting home without being lapped by Kaisa Makarainen. Finland's number 1. She's had some ups, she's had some downs in her career, particularly the World Championships in Kontiolahti, where she couldn't do anything on her home range. But this weekend she's looked tremendous. Well, marriage certainly seems to have helped Kukalova. She's very consistent this year, and actually that's what we saw last season when she ran away with the Crystal Globe.
And I think her discipline, when she came in for the first stand, those around her lost their heads. She kept her calm, she shot a lot slower, but she got the targets.
There are your top 10. Makarainen, Kukalova, Duranabert, Dalmaier, top 4 in the World Cup standings, all in the top 4 of the results here in Ruhpolding. Oiberg with a PB, brilliant run from her. Puskarchikova, good gains from her throughout the race. Tatiana Akimova will hold her place in the top 10 of the World Cup. Justine Brezard, Mike, again, as you mentioned, the French shooting seems to have dropped away a little. That is crucial.
Just cannot afford to miss, but Bendika, that's a great performance from her, up from 47.
Dunkley of USA, she missed 4. I think she missed, was it 3 she missed on the very first shoot?
She did, and then she only missed another 1 in the next 15 shots. That's a pity to get your position wrong first time in.
Miriam Gustner, given the benefit of the doubt by the German selectors. 47th today, outside the World Cup points. A 70% hit rate on the range. The day will come when that isn't good enough. Well, beautiful winter scenery down here in the south of Germany.